The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Durack.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I do welcome the opportunity to speak on the Deputy Leader of the Opposition's private member's business, which allows members on this side of the chambers, members of the Turnbull Government, to highlight the inroads this government has made in higher education, particularly, Madam Deputy Speaker, with respect to regional, rural and remote Australia since we were elected some 3 years ago. Higher education, as all of us in this place know only too well, that it plays a vital role in opening up doors and opportunities for all Australians, and it greatly enhances people's career prospects and their lifelong enjoyment. Higher education, which, Madam Deputy Speaker, as you may know, I presented my own private member's business on this exact subject earlier this year, and we know it provides the skills and knowledge that the economy requires if we are to strive to build our entrepreneurial skill base and also international competitiveness. Like all of us on this side of the chamber, I believe higher education will be pivotal to the successful transition into an economy focused on creativity of all Australians. Now, we've heard a lot about how terrible the Turnbull Government is. Let's just start to focus now on what our record is. Firstly, the Turnbull Government is investing a record sum of more than $16 billion in universities in 2016. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, if you say the number quickly, it doesn't sound like much, but $16 billion in 2016 sounds like a significant amount of investment in education. Madam Deputy Speaker, more funding than ever before is being invested in Australian universities, with a focus on funding for more student places at universities, and this will continue at an increase of more than 7% over the forward estimates. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, what I'm particularly pleased about is students in rural, regional and remote Australia have never had better access to higher education following the government's $152 million regional student access to education package. This package will help more kids from the bush to gain access to tertiary education. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I have been lobbying for some time the Minister for Social Services and also the Minister for Education to implement a policy which will assist students wanting to undertake post-secondary education, and I'm very pleased that we made these very key announcements last June. This package includes 1,200 new rural and regional enterprise scholarships up to $20,000 each for undergraduate, postgraduate and vocational education students to undertake STEM studies to the tune of $24 million, a significant investment. In addition to these new rural, regional and remote scholarships, the Turnbull Government is investing $45 million for isolated children's education. This includes funding for the Assistance for Isolated Children's Additional Boarding Allowance, a means-tested supplementary payment to provide additional support for low-income families whose child may board away from the family home. As promised, the government will increase the rate of the additional boarding allowance by 50%, bringing it into line with the cost of education for isolated families. This, Madam Deputy Speaker, will be of tremendous benefit to my electorate of Durack, which has over 300 towns and communities and home to some of the most isolated towns in the world. So to them, this is fantastic news. Part of the regional student access to education package is also the reduction of time that students need to be employed under the self-supporting criteria in order to receive the youth allowance and ab-study living allowance, reducing the criteria from 18 months to 14 months. Madam Deputy Speaker, this measure will mean that a student will be able to qualify for assistance, such as youth allowance, within one gap year, not over two, instead of having to work for longer and delay their university commencement. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, this all sounds very technical and very detailed and lots of detail that I think those on the other side, really, if they paid attention, they would actually see that we are focused on the rural and remote students in Australia, and that this is our efforts to ensure that they don't get left behind, that we've got equity of education with respect to their city cousins. In the time I have left, I just want to focus on the new VET Students Loan Program that this government announced recently, which is going to lead to a more affordable, sustainable and student-focused education sector. Our announcement is going to hit reset, Madam Deputy Speaker, on Labor's woefully badly designed VET fee help scheme, Now Australia can start to rebuild their trust in vocational education, and taxpayers won't have their money wasted. As I said at the time, the vet student
Order.
loan
The member's
scheme
time
is
has
a win-win.
expired, and I thank the member for Durack